Hello and welcome to Functional Foundations. Today's workout is a full body workout, no cardio component, working on lots of balance and also lots of pulling motions to try to strengthen especially your upper back, try to help you maintain nice strong posture even though we're doing a lot of forward folded sitting motions these days. Fairly minimal equipment. Today you'll need a bench and you'll also need tubing. That should be it. My tubing is not particularly intense. It's a light tubing, so I'm going to fold it over a couple times. If you have a couple different resistances, then you might want to have both handy in case you want to switch in the middle of your workout. So once you have your bench and your tubing, we can get started with warming up. So we'll start with the shoulders, doing some backward shoulder rolls. And then we'll move into some forward shoulder rolls. We're going to move into the hips, so step a little bit wider, do some circles, side to side, front and back. Let's change directions. Working into the lower back a bit, place your hands just above your thighs, round your back up to the ceiling, arch your back like a cat. We'll go for one more. And moving into inner thighs, step nice and wide. You're going to rock one way, rock the other, into your side bridges. Hips go down and back. Chest stays up nice and tall. Excuse me. Let's go for a couple more of those. Got a frog in my throat. Can't get COVID through the computer. All right, let's work into some walkouts. So keep your feet keep your legs nice and straight. Reach for the ground. You can go as wide as you need to with your legs. Come on out to a high plank position and then just walk it back up. Go for 4 more of those. If you can, walk your feet closer together to get more of a stretch into those hamstrings. Last one here. Awesome, and now we're just going to move into your hip flexors a little bit. So what I want you to do is take a big step backwards into a kneeling position, raise that arm up, feel that stretch through your hip flexor, and then step up, alternating sides, reverse lunge, raise the arm up, feel that stretch, step up. Nice and controlled, easing into that stretch. Keeping your torso upright. Let's go for one more each way. Excellent. Finishing off with some twists. Making sure your spine is nice and limber. One more each way. Excellent. Okay, so you should be feeling like your joints are fairly warm now. We'll get into our first circuit. These circuits are super long because we're doing one side at a time. We're going for 5 to 10 reps for everything, so fairly low reps. Just go at your own pace. Feel free to hit pause whenever you need to. Feel free to modify as you need to as well. So, first exercise is a sit down. Going to go for 10 on each leg. The lower your bench is, the tougher it'll be, so adjust the height as you need to. And then I'll also show you a couple different versions here. So the main version of a sit down, you're going to be on one leg, lifting up the other leg just a little bit off the ground. You're going to sit down, stand up, and you're going to pay attention to that knee. Make sure it tracks directly over your toes and doesn't collapse inward as you sit. Now for some of you, you'll notice you just fall down onto the bench and you can't get back up. That's totally fine. We'll just modify. So again, standing on one leg, you can put some light pressure on the opposite one and just sit down nice and controlled. And then also you can use this leg a little bit to help you get up. So you're doing primarily on the one leg and assisting with the other. All right, so we'll go for 10 of those each side. Here we go. At your own pace. I'll do 8 more on this side. I'm always demoing on my right leg, and it is much stronger than my left leg. Pressing up to a flat foot. When you reach your 10, whatever pace that is, switch sides. Remembering you can help out with that other leg, keeping everything in alignment. So you're trying to keep your 2 legs side by side, so the gap between them stays the same the whole time. If this leg crosses in front, that means your knee is collapsing inwards, which is not a good thing. It can cause knee pain. It can also cause imbalances in your glute or be an indicator of imbalances in your glute. Last one at my pace. Awesome job. All right, so that's 10 sit downs each side. Next up, we have tubing pulls. So grab your tubing. There we go. Mine's fairly light, so I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to stand on it. So it's hooked underneath my foot, and I'm holding on to where it's folded and also onto the handles. So it's actually in 4 parts right now to create quite a bit of tension. And I'm going to just have a nice flat back while that's underneath my foot. I'm going to pull up, big squeeze, and then back down. Thinking about my shoulder, it's down away from my ear. Going for 10 of these. Nice flat back, strong core. Big squeeze up top. When you reach your 10, switch it up. So take your tubing, put it underneath your other foot, switch hands into that staggered stance, flat back, tight core, pulling straight up and back down. Awesome. From there, we're going to go into a lateral raise. So for this one, if you want to, you can stand on one foot and work on balance. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can just work on the shoulder. So what you want to do is stand on the tubing with one foot, and you can test how much of the tubing you want to give yourself. So if you make a longer tubing, it's easier. Shorter one is harder. And you're just going to bring that arm out so your wrist, elbow, shoulder are about the same height, and then come back down. You're going for 10. If you're feeling ambitious, then lift your one leg up. That will really challenge your balance, force you to keep your core nice and tight. It's an option. 10 on each arm. It's just a slight bend in your elbow. No shrugging, keep that shoulder down. Awesome. And then all you're going to do, switch sides, give both shoulders equal treatment. Make sure the resistance is the same on both sides. 10 more on the other side. All right, good. So that's one round. We'll do 2 more. Starting with our sit down, stand up, 10 per leg. Nice and controlled when you sit down. Using your other leg if you need for help. Making sure you stay aligned so both legs match each other. There's no crossing or swinging out to the side. And the lower your seat, the tougher it'll be. Give me 10. Switching sides whenever you're ready. Try to stay aligned. Last one at my pace. Good. All right. From there we have our rows. Grab your tubing. Add as much resistance as you need. It should be challenging. It needs to be a fairly short rope because it's going underneath that foot. You want tension the whole time. Make sure you flatten that back out. Tight core. Here we go. Drive it up to the ceiling. Big squeeze. Switching sides at 10. Make sure that back is flat. Here we go. Well done. Let's move into those shoulders. Standing on that tubing with one foot. The other foot can be in the air for an added challenge or on the floor. Just coming straight out to the side. Hold for a second. Back down. Should feel your shoulder working. Get your elbow up. Make sure your elbow isn't lagging. slight bend in the arm. Switching sides at 15. Nice, easy breathing. Woo! Make sure your handle is attached to your tubing. Had to happen eventually, right? And 10. That's why I always pay attention to the line of fire with these things. Okay, we have one more round. Back to your sit downs. 10 of these per leg. Moving at your own pace. Not worrying about getting cardio today. Just trying to work on that alignment. Get nice straight line from ankle to knee to hip. Good stuff. Switching sides when you're ready. Come on, lefty. Good. All right, we have our rows. Folding it up, putting it underneath that foot, holding on, nice flat back. Here we go. Switching sides at 10. Making sure that back is flat. Drive the elbow to the ceiling. Last one. Oh, my tubing got tougher without the handle. Okay, lateral raise. Adjust the length as you need to. Bring your wrist, elbow, shoulder up. No shrugging. Switching sides when you're ready, making sure you have equal tension on both sides. Awesome. All right, grab a quick drink if you'd like, and then we're into our next round of exercises. gonna go into the single leg deadlift position. For this one, I'm gonna fold my tubing in half. And while I'm in that position, I'm going to do a press overhead with the tubing. So it will look like this. I'm on my one leg. Make sure you don't kick the wall here. Keep your hips nice and square. Pull that tubing apart. You're gonna reach out overhead and then bring it back. And I want to go super slow, so I'll only go for 5. If you're having trouble with the balance, don't worry. With your free leg, instead of lifting it up, just rest your toe gently on the ground, hinge forward, still keeping your hips square to the floor, and then do the same thing. You're still going to feel your shoulders working really hard to press overhead, and you're still, by squaring those hips, going to work on stability through the hips. So lifting that back leg is the more advanced option, but you can gently rest that toe on the floor if you need to. All right, 5 per side, nice and controlled. Find your position. Make yourself as long as you possibly can. Nice flat back. Pull that tubing apart as you press. Go for 5. And then you're just going to switch sides. So other leg up, pull that tubing apart, hips are square to the ground, press overhead. Keep pulling it apart as you press. Whew. Excellent. Really, really nice. From there we have a walkout to push-up. We're only going to do 5 of these on each leg, right? Yes, 5 of these on each leg. No, 5 of these total. Sorry about that. All right, so 5 walkouts to push-up. And what's special about these push-ups is I want you to lower yourself really slowly and then back up, because you only have to do 5 of them. So you can go from your knees or your toes, whatever works for you. Keep those legs straight just like we did in our warm-up. Walk it forward to your high plank, and then from here you're going to go slow, and then back up. 4 more. Walk out, slow, and then back up. You can drop to your knees for the push-up portion. I will show you. So like this, on your knees, slow, and then back up. 2 more. Last one here. Awesome. Okay, from there we have a hip dip to a star. Just gonna adjust the screen a tiny bit here. All right, so you're gonna be in a side bridge. And again, we're just doing 5 of these on each side. I'll show you 2 versions because lots of you will be doing modified version for these. So you're in your side bridge, on your elbow, on your knee. This is the modified version. All you're going to do is lift yourself up into that side bridge, nice straight line with your body here. And then you're going to raise that leg up, feel your hips fire, and then back down. So for most of you, that will be intense enough. A few of you may want it a bit more intense. So then bottom leg is straight. You're going to lift your hips up, lift that top leg, bring it down, bring your hips down. 5 each side, second side will be harder. Ready? Let's keep on going. I'll do 3 more. You choose the version that works for you. And when you're ready, you're switching sides. I'll do one advanced one and I'll do the rest of mine modified. All right, here we go. So when you push those hips up, make sure your body's in a straight line and you're not letting your butt sit back because that's cheating. Two more at my pace. Awesome. And then we have V-sit rows. Grab your tubing. This is the last one in the circuit. So you're going to hook it around your feet. You decide how much tension you want to put on there. Chest up nice and high. Legs are out and you're just going to pull back and then bring it forward. Make sure that if your tubing breaks, nothing's going to hit you in the face. Going for 10 of these. Keep that chest up nice and high. Awesome. All right, 2 more rounds. Back to the single leg deadlift with the press. I will demo 2 of the modified version and then 3 of the regular. You choose what works for you. You have your tubing. For me, I'm going to fold it in half to make it a little bit more difficult. You're pulling it apart and then pressing overhead. So modified, you're going to have just that 1 foot on the ground, hips are square, pulling apart that tubing, reaching overhead, feel those shoulders work. And then to advance it, you just lift that back leg up, still keeping those hips square to the ground, still pulling that tubing apart and reaching overhead. Awesome. Switching sides. Get those hips square before you start. Super key. Whew, good. Okay, from there we have our walkout to push-up that I got all confused about last time. All right, so super slow on the way down. The way up I'm not too concerned about, but on the downward phase of your push-up, I want you to be nice and slow. Only 5 of these. Here we go. Super strong core. Go from your knees if you'd like. Trying to get as much range as you can. So think about getting your chest down to the floor. As long as that doesn't give you shoulder pain. Two more at my pace. Last one here. Whew. All right, side bridge with the hip dip and the leg lift. From your toes or your feet. I'll show one from the toes. Sorry, from the toes or the knee. I'll show one from the toes and the rest from the knee. Here we go, just 5. Nice straight line with your body, hips up, lift that leg, and then back down. Hips up, lift, Nice and controlled. Body's in a straight line. Lift as high as you can. Awesome. Same thing on the other side. Get that straight line, hips up nice and high, leg up. Awesome. Grab your tubing. We have your V-sit rows. So hooking that around your feet, chest up nice and high. Make sure that's nice and stable so that nothing's going to snap in your face. And then just pulling straight back. Keep your chest up. Drive your elbows back. Going for 10. Awesome. Ready for one more round. Doing well. Okay, we have our single leg deadlift with the overhead press. Whatever version works for you, pull this apart as you press and keep those hips square. Five on each leg. So close. All right. Then we have the walkouts with the push-ups. Final time. Keeping your legs straight. You can work them closer together if your hamstrings are feeling nimble, a little more bendy. Slow, 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 slow. And then back up. Last one here. Let's see if you can make it even slower. How slow can you go? Woohoo! All right, then we have our hip dips. With the leg raise, 5 per side. Keep this body in a straight line. That's super important. If you do that, you probably won't need to go on your toes or in your foot because it's hard enough as is. Ready? Here we go. Hips up, lift. Switching sides at 5. Breathe. Excellent. Grabbing your tubing. V-sit with the row. Final time. Looking that over your feet, keeping your chest up nice and tall. Lean back. Drive those elbows back. Keeping that chest up. Going for 10. Well done. Let's move into some stretches. So we're going to get into the hamstrings a bit. Bend your legs. Grab onto your feet. Now this might be a stretch right here. So you can bend your legs as much as you want. You want to keep your body and your thighs glued together. And while you keep them glued together, just straighten your legs out until you start to feel a stretch through your hamstrings. And we're just going to hang out there. As your hamstrings loosen up, you can wiggle your butt a bit to straighten those legs out a bit more. Really important that your torso and legs stay together. If they start to separate, you'll feel the stretch more into your back instead of your hamstrings. All right, let's move the stretch into your glutes. Crossing one leg over the other, grabbing onto those ankles and relaxing back. You can pull back on those ankles if you want, or you can just stay here. And when you're ready, you can switch sides. Moving up to your pancake stretch. Bring your legs wide. There we go, I'm on the screen. Bring your legs wide, and you want your sit bones to be sitting on the ground. So if you don't feel those bones on the ground, you might have to put your hands behind you and stick your chest up to get them to touch. If you're a bit more bendy than that, then it's possible you may be able to walk your hands forward. Some people can even lay their chest right down on the floor. So figure out what works for you. I like to grab onto my toes. Should feel a nice stretch through your inner thigh. Pull that chest forward. Bring it up to your hands and knees. We're going to do some active T-spine rotations. So what that means is you'll be on your hands and knees. Hands and knees are directly under your hips and shoulders. You're going to take your hand and you're going to rotate down. Then you're going to rotate up to the ceiling. Hold that contraction there, trying to pull your shoulder back. Then come back down and back up. We'll go for 5 of these, so 3 more. Down and up. Down, up, down, awesome. And let's switch sides, 5 on the other side. So hand by your head, rotate down, rotate up, bringing the elbow to the ceiling. Your hips and everything else stay still. 5, nice and slow and controlled. Awesome, moving into the shoulders, bring your knees wide, sit your hips down and back, walk your hands out in front of you, rest your forehead on the floor. Just hold it there for a moment. Walk your hands over to the right. Place your right hand on top of your left and then press that left hand to, left shoulder towards the floor, stretching out that sideline. And then we'll go the other way, so walking over to your left, left hand on right, pushing your right shoulder down towards the floor. And we'll finish off with some hip flexor stretches. So into your lunge position, tuck your tailbone in, push your hip forward until you feel a good stretch in the front there. Body is nice and upright. Reach up and over. And we'll switch sides into your lunge, tucking that tailbone, keeping those hips square, and then reaching up and over. Awesome. I hope you had a great workout today, and I will see you for our next class.